Online discussion boards offer both students and teachers great opportunity for communication, peer learning, and active engagement in the class content. In this episode, we examine the role of online discussions in the learning process, and we also offer some useful strategies for effective moderation to maximise student participation and motivation.
When you're in the classroom, you'll find that just through, group dynamics, some students will tend to dominate the discussion, and more reticent students, shyer students who feel that they're less articulate or are having trouble with the language may not participate.
Someone for whom English isn't the first language or who's a bit shyer might not kind of respond so quickly, whereas online they can do that. They can think about what they want to say. If there's words they don't know, they can go and look them up and all those kinds of things.
They use discussion boards to post questions, to communicate with their peers, sometimes they just have comments that they'd like to share with their peers.
What the virtual space can offer is greater opportunity for communication, for sharing ideas, and for mapping ideas against each other and contesting ideas.
One of the mistakes teachers make when they first start using the internet for their teaching is to spend far too much time engaging with their students on a one-to-one basis. That's why online discussion groups and collaborative workspaces where individual student questions can be answered by an academic, but for the benefit of everybody who's in the unit of study, that's one of the ways that you can manage your time effectively.
Because I can't do that one-on-one with 1,000 students, it allows a lot of people to see any information that a lecturer or a tutor feeds back to an individual.
Everybody's got an equal opportunity, and a lot of people can contribute at once. And that means everybody can participate in an active way instead of just listening to someone else making a contribution.
My students in a class of 1,000 can get very isolated. This is a community function, if you like, that allows them to connect and answer each other's questions. So there's some peer learning going on there as well.
Peer-to-peer discussions were very helpful for the students in trying to sort out perhaps their concerns or questions about the content that was being covered. So it allowed them to go a little further, a little deeper into that course content. And in that way, I think it was a very useful learning strategy.
The whole point of our online discussions is for the students to talk to each other and learn while they're talking, and for me to gauge their understanding.
It's really important to emphasise that when you are teaching online, the attendance isn't measured in the same way as it would be in a face-to-face class. You can't just log on. We don't know if you're online or not, so you have to physically post something.
When students logged on the first day of their tutorial and saw that there was something already there, other students had engaged, it very much encouraged them to do the same. If they logged on and found that nothing was there, they didn't necessarily feel that it was worth their time.
You only need to get a couple of students in there who really engage in it, and that seems to bring along the others.
What motivates me in a discussion to participate is if somebody responds to what I've just written, and that response doesn't necessarily have to be positive and gushy. It can be disputing what I've just said.
Rather than, going in and targeting specific students, if say, 10% of students hadn't responded, I'd post a general comment to the message boards congratulating people who had participated and summarising the key gains that had been made to that point about those contributions, and then reminding people gently that the deadline was X date.
I very rarely set it to occur at a particular time. I'll let it extend for a period of time. I might say this discussion is going to be limited for a week.
And one of the things about having this sort of textual base and also this asynchronous way of working where I will write some feedback or a message and the students then write some response to that is that everyone, including me, but obviously particularly the students, get the chance to think about what it is they want to say.
Because of that element where you can sit back and think and then respond to someone, the discussion quality is really high.
At the beginning, I give reasonably careful criteria as to what I expect them to be demonstrating in their online discussions.
Something I emphasise at the beginning of semester is that I would like all posts to be a maximum 200 words. Otherwise, you will find students just going on a rant, and you basically have to read it and provide some kind of comment. So emphasising that simple is better is really important.
What you need to make sure is that if they are putting a question that's about some content or about an assessment item, that they're getting very quick responses. So what I tend to do is I tend to have a number of different discussion board threads, and I will have each of those moderated by a different person.
Because we have so many discussion questions for the assignment, what I tend to do is then, when they're being repeated, is I will collate all the questions so that the students aren't having to read over and over and over the same question.
If there's a discussion going on the website that's picked up something that's happened during the class and it's still alive at the end of the week when your class was at the beginning of the week, I feel like that learning is taking place outside of the classroom and extending, doing all those things we hope to have happen, but we've got evidence that it's happening in front of us.